everybody, Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby Supply once again. Today we're going to do update 98. Probably with me doing a lot of coughing and hacking like I usually do, but we have a forest fire up here and we can smell the smoke in the air. So I'm worse than I usually am. But anyway, I hope you enjoy it today. Not a whole lot of work. It's going to be another short one. I'm going to go over something else with Lisa here, and that's about it. So let's get started on this. I always ramble on and we never get started on time. Is there really an on time? We're starting now. Okay gang, before I put all the track and stuff back in here to show you how this is all going to work, because I changed up a bunch of switches and stuff, I wanted to show you that I plastered it in. It's not the greatest plaster job, but it was basically designed to kind of level up what I had there. I'm going to put the track back in, talk to you a little bit about the engine house, and I'll be right back with you. Youch. Okay, everybody, this is kind of going to be the track-wise is going to be kind of the finished product. By the suggestion of somebody in the last video, they suggested that I don't use the Kato bumpers, and I do have a bunch of Walthers bumpers, and I think that was a good idea. I'm going to cut some pieces. I'm going to make those tracks as long as I can and put a bumper at the end of them down there, but it's going to be a Walthers bumper. I also changed this track out to a pit instead of the up on stanchions inspection area. If you go back and compare this to the previous video, I changed the direction that this turnout goes. I changed the direction that this turnout goes. Got rid of the track that came back this way because, as suggested, it was way too busy. I don't remember if I changed the direction of this one, but it flows, the whole layout, not the layout, but the whole yard here flows better this way. I used some different straights and some different radiuses to make it work out down here. The only thing I had to do is I had to make my own curve here. I took a 15-inch radius and I cut it so that I could bend it to what I wanted it to be. Not a problem at all. And I thought it made that swoop a little better rather than having two curves and a straight in there. All of this obviously comes back to the existing track. One thing I haven't done is underneath right here and underneath right here I have hot glue. And I'm going to try and heat that up with a heat gun and try and push that down into the foam. If I can't, I'll just push it down into the foam, try and level that up a little bit. It's not bad even when I run the locomotive over it or anything, but I'm just going to try and get some of that out of there. I kind of like the way those two tracks right here go down there. I was going to put a canopy over that side or an awning over that track over there, and I may still do that, or I may make something freestanding. But over here where the pit is, I'm definitely going to have an awning. I don't know how high it'll be. It'll come off the building and go over that pit track there, and the stanchions to hold it up will obviously be between this track and the pit. But I need some place for them to work if they're outside. Now, I don't know if I covered it in the last video, but I believe that I'm going to put some asphalt in here and make some of this, maybe over here, make some of this employee parking. And I'm going to have a road come across here somewhere, probably back in here. Probably right in here actually, where there's no, you're not in the turnout. And then have a parking lot here and an area and a way to get down towards the engine house and so forth. But there's going to be a lot of flat concrete. Some of this is going to be concrete, some of it's going to be asphalt, some of it's not going to be lowered at all. I think back here, from about here back, it's going to be regular ballast, and I'm probably going to do concrete between the tracks over there, and concrete in front of the building out a little ways, then asphalt, and then most likely just asphalt, or maybe even raised just ballast all the way up to the ties in that area. I'm not really sure. I'll have to play that by ear as I go. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the engine house that you've already seen some pictures of here. Okay, right now I'm standing on the floor of the train room, and I am looking at the engine house, and I cut down the, well, first of all, I moved the smokestack to the back, number one, and I put a little bit of a dock. You can just barely see it, but I put a little bit of a dock sticking out there. There's a door there, and I'm going to probably flatten that out going over to the track. But anyway, put a dock outside that door over there. You can see that I painted the building. I think it's just some paint I had. It's a I think it's some kind of German bomber tan it's called, but it looks a little more greenish tan. But anyway, it'll do for me, and I haven't weathered it or anything, but as you can see, I did paint the window frames a gray primer. They were gray already, but I liked the dullness of the gray primer, so I painted them gray primer, put the glass inside, and put the windows in, and as you can see, no big deal. I did also put lights, a light there, an outside light back there, an outside light by the front door right here, and if we swing over here, I put two outside lights down the side over there. One other thing you can see is, of course, this building is not finished. When I painted it, I painted this roof because part of the wall is attached to that roof, so I'll have to paint that roof by hand. This roof here will also probably be painted by hand, maybe flat black first and then come back and do the air conditioning ducting. I used three big, or the largest vents I could find off of another Walthers kit, and I'm trying to remember which one it was. Seems like it was one of the sawmill buildings. I don't know what it was off, but anyway, I found them, and That air conditioner is out of the Walther's rooftop kits. If I get down a little bit lower here, if you look right at the top of this doorway, you can see the top of the roll-up door, or the bottom of the roll-up door. I cut the bottom of the roll-up door off and glued it in place there because, as I said, I can't get them to go up and down. There's no place for the door to go. But I'm going to show you why I kind of went through all this trouble and everything, so I'll be right back. Okay, here I am, I'm back. Now what you can see that I have done is I have put a bunch of I-beam inside the building and painted the inside of the building white. And then I taped off all the inside and then put the roof on and taped all around the roof, but put the roof in and then painted the outside to keep the paint from going into the inside. It turned out, I think it turned out pretty good. I'm obviously not done weathering it or anything yet, but what you probably can't see here is underneath every other one of those I-beams I have a nano light bulb, or a LED bulb, an LED, so that the inside of the engine house has light in it. You can see the wires to those going down a wire trough that I put along the edge of the building over here. What my game plan is I have a Circuitron arc welder. I don't really care for the Evans Design arc welder. It just blinks. It's more like a blinking light, you know, than it is an arc welder, in my opinion. But I do have a Circuitron welder that uses light bulbs, and I really do mean light bulbs this time. But anyway, I'm going to put those. I've got that to work, and it's a very effective welder, but it has very large light bulbs. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to drill through that wall down there where you see it's kind of dark where I got the weathering on it. I'm going to drill a hole through that wall, and then just on this side, right down straight from my, almost straight down from my finger right there, I'm going to put a welding shade there, because in most of these places they have a designated welding area, and it usually has some fabric or a canvas or wood or metal or something around it, so that the welder has his own little area to weld in and other people don't have to worry about staring at the welding all the time. So you will be able to see the welding going on in there, and there will probably be some welders and some equipment just outside of view there. And anyway, that's the idea with the welder. I'm going to put a sticky light inside this area here, the boiler room area, and I have yet to get that light mounted in there. I am also going to put a flashing yellow or red light somewhere inside the building as like a cautionary light for whatever job is going on in there. And I have that engine inspection ramp stand there, along with that guy down there. And I do have all the shelving and stuff I took out of the other building, and I'm going to put that kind of stuff in there and detail up the inside of this a little bit. And then I have to loosen up the fit of the roof just a little bit more. I've done that already, so I can lift the roof in and out. And the roof it just doesn't slip right down on there, but it's pretty close. But that was the idea, so I can take that off and get some, you know, people can see the detail that's going on inside of there. And as far as the engine house, I think that's pretty much it for now. I'm also thinking about putting, like I did over on the sawdust burner, maybe putting a little flame inside of the smokestack, and just a little bit of a wisp of smoke coming out of that. All the lighting goes into this section of the building here, and will drop down through the foam. And then I'm going to solder on some wire extensions to bring it out, because the edge of the board is right about here, so I'll have to drop it through, reach up underneath there, pull that wiring out, and then be able to connect that wiring up to the power supplies. The little welder takes 9 volts DC. It'll be on its own circuit, and it'll have, I'm going to put a switch out here on the fascia to turn it on and off. The other lighting will come on and off because it'll all be into the one of the plug boxes. I don't know if, well, I'm obviously probably going to have some lamp posts outside like I did before, and then I have some I think NJ International is selling them now, but I have some doggone, who was it, Fowler or Helgen or somebody did some real nice yard lights, and they now sell them for $1.50 with LEDs in them. They used to have light bulbs in them. Well, I had a bunch of them with light bulbs. I'm in the process of taking the light bulbs out and rewiring those with LEDs, and when I get those done, I may put one of those down here somewhere at this end, and then those I will also take some of those and place them down the center of the yard, probably 3 of them down the center of the yard. Sorry for all my mess here in my tripod, but so anyway, that's the game plan going on there. And if I back up here and I kind of get you up here in the air a little bit, you can kind of see that it flows much better than it used to flow, and it's a little more compact than it used to be. So this is the latest progress, and I hope you enjoy it. By the way, I am not going to power any of those turnouts. All 3 of those turnouts will be thrown by hand. Actually 4 turnouts, including this one here. They will all be thrown by hand. In fact, everything going into this yard from this point right here will be thrown by hand to get stuff in and out. I just can't see putting another DS64 down there just so I can add push buttons when I could. It's harder for me to find the push button than it is to just throw the lever on the turnout. So since a person will be standing right here, they can just throw those by hand. It's not a matter of expense, it's just I think it's more convenient to do it that way. So those wires will drop down through the board, and they'll just be tied up under the board when I get that far. And I was going to tell you guys too how I was going to make these templates. Maybe I did on the last video, but let me go over that real quickly. Okay, as you all might expect, I've been watching a lot of car videos, and I found out in the car business and making and fabricating parts and so forth, the way they're making templates for body parts and stuff is they're taping over it. Excuse my arm there, slipped off the layout. Anyway, they tape over the area with fat masking tape, the brown kind that you can kind of see through, and then they mark, in this case I would mark where the rails are on the masking tape, and then I would go to the bench and I would cut that masking tape out, and then I would use that piece of masking tape as my pattern to put styrene across here and make concrete, my concrete pads and stuff out of it. I'm pretty sure that's the way I'm going to do it. I don't know if I've seen it done in model railroading, but I've seen it done in cars. But that's how I'm going to make the templates to put the styrene in there. Let's see, aside from that, I think that's about it for now, gang. I'm going to show you one more thing that I had made for Lisa, and we'll be out of here. Okay, I found a guy on Craigslist that was selling this little easel for $15. So I talked him down to $12 and he even brought it to me. So I just cleaned it up. It's a little portable easel for painting or drawing. But anyway, I had this storyboard made here so that when I take the car out and show the car at any of the coffee and cars or whatever, I have it and people can read about it. So it's got Lisa on there, and it's got a basic rundown of the parts that are, well, I've added some parts. But anyway, the parts that were in it when I did the paper. Then there's actually a Ford sales brochure there that I had purchased on eBay. So there's a sales brochure, the information about the car, and her name there, so that I don't have to keep going over that. And I thought it would add a little bit of interest when people are looking at the car. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed update 98, and as usual, thanks for watching.